Back to that Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
All right, my next guest is no stranger if you watch the Fox News channel. She is one of the Fox News Medical All-Stars. She also happens to be the single most practiced doctor in the Kevin McCullough library of personnel since COVID broke out in terms of actually treating COVID patients. She treated more of them than any of the other doctors we had on, I think, and maybe more than all of them combined. But she has also got a lot of passion about nutrition, your immune system, wants to help you in a lot of ways. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Jeanette Nishwat. Hello, Dr. J. How are you?
Hey, Kevin, doing great. So good to be with you as always.
I enjoy it when we get together and we get a chance to talk. And I'm going to ask you a question about something I saw on your BC Boost Instagram page a little bit later in our discussion. But I want to go to the top concern that everybody has on their mind right now. A couple of days ago, some forest fires broke out in Canada. Another one broke out in New Jersey. And the combined wind effect and everything else has visited literally the footsteps of Mordor for people that are, familiar with Lord of the Rings. It looks like the eye of Sauron is staring over New York City.
Yeah.
And, lava and ash and everything else is raining from the sky. I jest a little bit, but Dr. Jeanette, you and I were talking off air this week, and there are people that have, a spectrum of breathing difficulty when there's just a little bit of pollen in the air. What is a situation like this doing to those people?
Yeah, it's really tough out there. What we're seeing is I'm having patients, they're coming in with itchy eyes, with sore throat, irritation in their chest, they're coughing. Some of them are even wheezing, and they don't even have asthma. And so it can be really a challenge for all of us, whether you have asthma or underlying COPD or suffer from allergies. And hopefully this, once the fires are controlled, this will settle down. But it's definitely a challenge when we're in the middle of allergy season and so much pollen is brewing already. But what I'm telling my patients is, for example, if you are in an area where we have, a high level of pollutants, where it literally says unhealthy external air quality, try your best to stay indoors as much as you possibly can. Also, if you have asthma, for example, make sure you carry your asthma inhaler on you, especially if you carry a rescue inhaler. You don't want to be stuck without it. These pollutants that are out in the air, they can cause an asthma exacerbation, or even if you don't have asthma, you can have what's called reactive airway inflammation, and that can be dangerous. And so you want to make sure you keep your medicines on you, keep your inhaler on you. I have seen some patients wear a mask just as they exit the building, just to get into their vehicle or onto the train, because it's so heavy right now here in New York. Some people are doing that. They feel better doing that. But it's not a recommendation that I'm giving to everyone, but some of my patients say that they feel more comfortable until the wildfires settle down. And another thing that people can do if they're having symptoms, sometimes taking an antihistamine. But the most important thing is not to be around this allergen, this bad air quality in the first place.
Right.
Of course, that's hard to do when you have to, go to work and leave your home. But until this settles down, because this is unusual, and until it settles down, try to stay indoors. If you have air purifiers, use an air purifier. Change the filters in your air conditioning units and that sort of thing as well. All these little things together can help. And then when you are outdoors and you go back inside, rinse off your face with a splash of water. Remove your clothing, take a shower. Put those clothing in the wash right away to try to minimize the pollutant that you're inhaling.
My bride grew up in Southern California, so they got used to seeing, some forest fires every year. I've never seen it do what it's doing here, though. It's traveling hundreds of miles from Quebec down to New York City and up from mid-Jersey to the tri-state area. And it just seems like, I don't know, it really... I've lived here 20 years. I've never seen anything like this in my 20 years here. Let me ask you a follow-up on some of the things you mentioned. I want to go back to the mask thing for a second. People got kind of jaded about the masks because eventually Dr. Fauci said they didn't really do much. But these pollutants are much, much larger objects than the COVID virus. Is that correct? And that's why a mask
Yes.
would be effective in this type of situation?
Yes, but if I have a patient that has asthma, I will not recommend them wearing a mask because it's going to make it even more difficult for them to breathe. So it's optional.
Dr. Jeanette, I always appreciate your time. You literally take it out of your day of practice to share your insight with us, and we are very, very grateful.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be with you, Kevin.
We'll be right back. That Kevin.